three of us, when we walked in here, Owen texted me and he was like, dude, like, this is legit.
I am very dedicated to making the most premium experience you could dream of. I want you to feel like you are walking into a 5-star hotel when you walk into QuackHacks. Like, I want people to be like, oh wow, I'm walking into a movie.
That's what makes a successful hackathon, is the passion of the people creating it. Because if you build it, they'll come. We built it and we have 99 plus people in there hacking away.
A movie is an hour, maybe 2 hours. They spend like years to create these movies. Hackathon's the same way. You're spending a whole year prepping everything for what's going to be 24 hours.
There could be a CS student sitting right next to you who has no idea that you hosted one of the largest hackathons in Oregon.
If you're someone who's willing to make those sacrifices, then you're one of the people who's meant for a higher position at a hackathon.
You're committing so much time to the point where it could start inhibiting other aspects of your life.
I've never missed a class because of hackathon responsibilities.
Welcome to the BeaverHacks Podcast. I'm your host, Havel, Konda. And today we're at QuackHacks and I'm joined by some very, very special guests. I'm here with Owen. He's the vice president of BeaverHacks. And I'm joined by Jack and Noah. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Jack Klein. I'm the director of finance for QuackHacks.
And my name is Noah. I'm the event director for QuackHacks.
So today we're going to be diving into how they set up this event and kind of the whole process behind running hackathons and that whole experience. To get right into it, we met last week, I think.
Yeah, we met a week ago. I think Owen, how'd you find out about us?
Someone just dropped an invite to your Discord server and our Discord server, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna join. I'm gonna hit one of these organizers up to see what's up with their hackathon. I think I reached out to Noah and we kind of just hit it off from there. You guys were like, we're gonna call in voice, but then this guy was like, you know what, how about we just meet up for dinner? And I was like, what? But It was awesome. I hit up Havel and we got it planned, and
it was great. Yeah, you messaged saying like, we should meet up sometime. I called him asking, let's when are you free for a call with these guys? And you said like, do you want to meet him? Like, yeah, we should meet up in person.
Yeah, I was like, screw it, why don't we just drive up? It's like 30 minutes up to them. So, we just asked, and he called me back later and he was like, yeah, let's just go send it. So I forget what night it was. I think it was like a Friday or something.
I think it was a school night.
It was a school
night.
I
think it was a weekday. I think it was like a Wednesday or something.
Yeah. So we had some good food, talked about potential partnerships, and it was a really good conversation that we had, and that really just led up to this.
Exactly.
So
And then I think a bunch of Oregon State students kind of all saw you guys push our event out, and I think we had on registrations, we had like 15% of our registrations come from Oregon State, so it was a good solid chunk of Beavers wanting to participate. So we could not be more happy to host them.
One of the things that we did discuss during that was like future partnerships with us, and that was definitely one of like the most interesting conversations that I had. One of the things that excited me the most on our drive home, like we were talking about it. We were like, why don't our schools have a hackathon? BeaverHacks has a hackathon, and all these other schools are doing incredible things with their clubs. But University of Oregon and Oregon State, they haven't really had these notable hackathons, and that's where we really wanted to step into that little nook and really have students be able to express their ideas and really just build something new. So
going off that, just walking around, and seeing what you guys have accomplished, I want to know like where this came from and how you guys started this idea.
Geez, it's a good story. It's a long story, but back in May, last May, so that's 10 months ago. John, one of the event coordinators for QuackHacks, came up to me, and at the time he was just president of AISA, or vice president, and he came up to me and said we should run a hackathon, and I was like, isn't that kind of like a cybersecurity thing? I was mixing up hackathon with capture the flag event, and I didn't understand. I totally mixed up the two definitions, capture the flag. And it wasn't until July that I realized like, oh shoot, I totally just failed that social interaction like 2 months ago. so I messaged him back. I'm like, wait, I just realized what you were talking about. Let's do it. So I messaged him in July, and planning started that same day. That same day I messaged him. We had a call. We talked about what we were looking for. We had our dreams were a lot smaller than what it ended up producing, which is an amazing accomplishment. So I'm super happy. We ended up running a small event called HackUO back in the fall, just to kind of give a rep under our leadership team, kind of understand what a hackathon is like to actually run, especially in person, like all the logistical mess that it can be, kind of get a rep of it. And then now we have the big budget, big production value. We're able to include merchandise for everybody, and we expanded our team a little bit, and now we're here at QuackHacks 2025.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's been a journey. It's been really cool. It's been exciting to do this.
Yeah.
I think I was brought onto the team through a connection that Noah had into the office where I work. I work with the clubs on campus helping manage the funds. So he really heard of that position and asked around if we were interested in helping out with the hackathon, and I kind of sensed it. I was like, sure, why not, right?
He's the perfect person to have because he's familiar with all the ins and outs of the school finance, knows all the tips and tricks on how to get good funding. So I think if it taught me anything, it taught me that like you can find the right person for what you're looking for. You can find, if you have like a very niche need, which is funding from the school, it's not like something everyone's looking for. It's probably only like 50 people who are looking for major funding from the university, and he's the perfect person to have on board to help us with that.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting process. I don't know if you want to go through the details of it, but we really just kind of pitched for our funding from the student government here, which is an amazing resource that all clubs have on campus pretty much. And really, without their donation, we wouldn't really be able to do this today. So I really just shout out student government, ASUO, and additionally the School of Computer and Data Science as well at the University of Oregon. They helped out as well really, really much. So
Definitely.
It was an incredible time that we had pitching to both funders, and without them we wouldn't be here today. And really that's kind of what led up to our meeting and the 90 plus students in there that are hacking away. I'm so excited to see what they create. And I'm not a coder. I have nothing to do with anything along those lines, but just thinking about the projects that they're creating and really hearing the possibilities that these like students are making, like that's definitely something that makes me want to continue on with this, and really hopeful for the future that we're going to make something big.
Speaking of Owen, you're participating. What are you?
Yeah.
What's that been like so far?
I'm participating in a hackathon right now with my friend named Kai. I think hackathons are like the best place to like practice new skills.
Yeah.
So we are deciding to build a game that's on the Ethereum blockchain, which is something we've both never done. And it's a little hard at first, but it's going pretty well. I'm drawing out all the animations because we have like some pixel characters that we need to animate. And right now he's working on the blockchain, but I'm really excited to like see our project and present it to you guys and maybe win some awesome prizes.
So what do you mean by you're building it on the blockchain?
Yeah. So traditionally you'll have like a backend service, connected with an API. But with the blockchain is you deploy your backend on it, and it pretty much just runs there forever. Some perks about it is that it's all immutable. So if I deploy something there, I can't really change it. So that makes it like pretty decentralized, right? There's no like person in control of it. So you can't do any bad things with it. And it's all public. So all the data on the blockchain is entirely public. So if I am a player playing this game, like all my stats, all the items I have, it'll all be public on the blockchain. So there's definitely some perks with there. It has a lot of applications in like finance and other stuff.
Cool. Sounds like a contender for sure. I've heard some other ones. There's a lot of really amazing projects that are being made this week, and I'm really excited to be able to see them all finished and completed.
You guys have been going around like asking people beforehand and getting
Yeah.
shots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of one team who's kind of trying to make like a Wii Sports kind of thing. So they're using some motion detection on cameras to kind of like a Kinect basically would work, and just detecting motion and trying to use it to make tennis work. We'll see how far along they get in that. They're super dedicated, so I know those guys are going to be up till they finish.
Yeah.
Those projects that involve hardware are always super impressive and usually do pretty well with the judges.
Hardware is like, I'd love to get more hardware involved. We don't have much, like, we don't have a very big like electrical engineering presence here at Oregon. It's all of our like engineering is very like
very medical.
It's
and
very
bio.
medical bio. Not much like electrical, mechanical. But I think that there's great opportunity for our schools to work together, because you guys have such a huge mechanical engineering presence. Like, your engineering school is massive. So I think I'd love for, like, in the future us to have teams that are half Oregon State, and combine the software and hardware together to make some cool stuff.
Yeah, at our hackathons, I think back in spring we had a couple hardware projects, and those definitely rose up to the top really fast.
Yeah.
When we're talking about hackathons, you usually see more software related stuff, but to see someone take, like, I don't know, something about it being real and like in front of you is just something completely different. I want to circle back to, you were talking about how you're more into finance, and the three of us, we're computer science majors. This is like our bread and butter. This is what we do. But like, why the passion in hackathons?
Yeah. I think it's just seeing it. You don't really know the passion until you're actually in the building. You're watching everybody just clicking away. You're watching the passion, the communication too. It's super impressive. You're literally working for 24 hours straight, right, on a project that you're trying to win a competition for, and that project could go on into a business, into a product, into something that could really change the world. And that's really what we're striving for. And that's what inspires me. I want to be able to enable that. I want to foster that environment. That's kind of what drives me, at least, is, hackathons really are just that environment that fosters creation. And that's something that every single university should have. And that's really what drives me to continue on with this endeavor.
Yeah, when we first met you guys, we were driving back, and our conversation kind of looked like, we knew like Noah was the one who was definitely like the brains behind the operation. He was the one who was planning it and everything, but just the energy that you brought, you were like, man, we gotta get those butts and seats, man. We gotta get those butts and seats, and that was like such a focus to you, and I really saw that. Like, you were pitching, it felt like you were pitching something to us,
Yeah.
Which I guess it was, but we were totally on board as soon as.
Yeah, I feel that's definitely you're right on the dynamic. It's definitely a lot of me being like, here's this magical fairy tale of a hackathon that I want to put on, and Jack is will tell me, okay, we can do that. That's not possible.
Yeah.
Tells me to keeps make sure we're talking about the same scale.
Yeah, I think it's been an incredible process, because it's made me like super. My job and my role as director of finance has been honestly really nice, because I don't have to think about really the brains behind the operation, because Noah takes care of that. So a lot of what I've done is kind of almost people moving and making it work, right?
Yeah.
His dreams, I've tried my best to come alive, and it's not just me, it's John, it's Adam, it's Jay, it's our whole team has made this come true, right? So there are a lot more parts involved in this machine than just the two of us, and in our volunteers today too. There are other people that have no idea what a hackathon is, that are here today volunteering, right? They're spending their weekends with us just to allow like creativity to bloom in there, right? And so it's just incredible.
Some really exciting stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we're team has to keep growing. So we're excited to continue recruiting in the future, hopefully expand our teams out even more. I feel like more and more it's turning into like, basically a startup, a corporation, with how many people are part of it and how many moving parts there are. But I'm excited to keep growing it. I think I've really fallen in love with this organization, and I think it can go really far.
Yeah, that's my goal. I think when we first discussed this, my goal was, Pacific Northwest Hackathon, something along those lines where, University of Oregon and Oregon State could eventually come together and really foster that environment for all Oregon students and really go even deeper than that. And I still think that's true today, and I think we could make it there, I think that, sometimes funding and a lot of other blocks may come, but I think we've pushed through so many of them so far that, whatever comes our way, I feel like we can just jump over it or move it or go straight through it, So
I think that was the first thing that kind of attracted us to you guys, where it was like the potential, the potential to make this the biggest thing that Oregon has seen, and possibly go beyond that. But like right off the bat, the potential is there. We're pretty huge schools, the both of us, and already we're in a position where we're the biggest hackathons at our respective schools. And me and Owen have been working really hard to just try to shift it from like a club to an organization, as you mentioned. Like we're kind of going into that kind of startup territory where it's like we got to do the marketing, we got to do the funding and all these different venues and aspects that most clubs on a smaller scale don't really have to think about. So QuackHacks has gotten to a pretty notable point at this point, but I'd like to just do a deep dive into like the very start, how you guys kind of came to the point here. You mentioned HackUO, which was kind of like your stepping stone into how you got to this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, just diving deep into that process.
Yeah. So we kind of, when we first grabbed kind of like a base team together, it was me, John, and Adam, and we pitched it to the School of Computer and Data Sciences, actually just the CS department, and they immediately were like, "We'd love to do this. We're gonna push you up to the School of Computer and Data Sciences." So we already moved up the chain on who we were talking about immediately. And they were like, "This is great." We were looking to bring back hackathons. They were just about to send an email out to all the students asking for some leaders who would be interested in making a hackathon. So us reaching out was like perfectly timed. These universities like know how important these events are to students. So they're like, if they know what a hackathon is and know the like impact of it, they want to support us the best they can. So we asked them like, how much funding can we get? Like, how can we work with you guys? And they gave us a few options. Particularly we had a big choice of either participating. They would send us out to a hackathon. They would fly me and two other people out to a hackathon just to participate, get like a rep under our belt of what a hackathon is like from the user perspective. Or we could run a small one. And we decided, let's just run a small one. It's going to help us learn all the event logistics that go behind it. And I think that was the right choice. So we ended up running HackUO. It was a small hackathon on October 15th and 16th here at University of Oregon. We had 45 people come. Pretty solid turnout for like the first hackathon at Oregon since 2016, I believe, is what we hear, but there's conflicting rumors on when that last one was. But I think 2016 is a safe call at this point. Mm-hmm. Ran HackUO, great success. Everyone had an amazing time. Pretty much everyone who was at that event is here again, and we could not be more happy we did it that way. Right after HackUO, we moved on to recruiting for QuackHacks, the big one. We always knew that this was going to be that was kind of like a stepping stone, and that this is what we were really aiming for. So immediately I knew the two areas that we struggled with was our finances and our marketing. I was like, our team, me and Adam and John were stretched too thin to do these kind of tasks. So I recruited Jaya. I just went to our marketing club, gave a 2-minute pitch on what our event was and what you'd be able to put on your resume by helping out at our event. And Jaya texted me 2 minutes later during her meeting and we got her on board. I then got a friend to recommend Jack because they're coworkers, and Jack's been a huge help in getting all the finances sorted for QuackHacks. It's been without Jack, I don't think this event would have happened. We were really planning on going like the sponsorship route. We wanted to get, just like the traditional hackathon experience of like, I mean, not the traditional hackathon experience, the traditional hackathon plan of like get sponsors, and then that's how you get your funding through sponsors. We were kind of behind the ball there. We were kind of already running a little late on sponsors. We also had the small 45 person event to get behind us, but a lot of sponsors want to see even more than that.
Yeah.
So Jack gave us a great solution. I'll let him kind of dive into that.
Yeah. So as I kind of touched on it a little bit before, but our student government here, any student that attends the University of Oregon pays a percentage of tuition towards a fund, and that fund is used for all the clubs on campus that are ASUO recognized. So any really student club that's recognized by the student body and government, and based on attendance numbers per year, that's the percentage of the fund that those clubs get, just right off the bat. And there's like a whole process to determine that and so forth. But since we were one of the newer clubs through Artificial Intelligence Student Association, ISA, we didn't have very much funding. And because of that, we had to go to surplus. And surplus is when the initial fund, there's excess from distributing that out to organizations. And lots of clubs, if they want to do events, they can go to surplus and pitch to the senators in our student government and really just say, hey, we want to do this incredible event that's going to impact hundreds of students. It's going to cost this much. This is why we're doing it. This is why it's good for the university. And really through that, that's how we gained our funding for this event, which was huge. So, I mean, really thinking back on it, I think we've been thinking about this for like a few months, right? Like we turned this in from like nothing into something in like a couple months and 3 or 4 months.
I was just looking back. Our meeting with the Senate was on November 10th, so pretty recent, relatively. Yeah. We really we've managed to we got that funding secured, which it's it's a lot of money to put on these kind of events. I don't want to say the exact number, but we're north of 5 figures, and that's everything from the facilities rental. That's all the AV and equipment that we had to rent. That's the food, especially food is a lot when you're trying to feed these many mouths. Of course, all of our merchandise, all of our swag, all of our marketing material, all that all got funded through there. Our website domain, there's all these costs just add up to so much money, and it can be a little shocking because it's like, why you guys are just sitting in a room programming. Why does it cost 5 figures? But it's the catering and stuff, really it adds up really quickly.
Yeah, and I think kind of going back too, I think we had a lot of struggles really finding where we were going to get the funding from. As soon as I got onto the team, we were thinking about it and brainstorming, and we had some thoughts about going through sponsorship, like we touched on before, and that whole process. But we wanted to get the ball rolling. We didn't really have time to reach out to sponsors and go through the process of that. And thankfully, the School of Computer and Data Science was super gracious. And before we had even gotten the funding from ASUO, they pledged enough just to put on the bare bones of a hackathon. So, without their funding, I don't think we would be here today either, because it might have not been as well catered or as merched up as this one is, but we definitely still would have been able to put on a hackathon. So I think it was really their funding as well as ASUO's funding that really just led us here, because I mean we again, it was like 3 months, right? That's a really quick turnaround for an event this size, and we have 90 plus participants. Lots of merch. We had our own designers go through and create it out in flyers and advertising, which was incredible. I think our advertising and marketing really did a fantastic job of getting students from every which part of campus, and I think that has really helped us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's the main steps. That getting that budget approved, that was like the most critical step. Once we got that budget from them, we knew, okay, from ASUO, okay, we're gonna have a premium event here. So then we were able to go to event services, get a venue. Venue took many miscommunications to secure it down. If I give any advice for people who are trying to start a hackathon, it's get your venue today. It's it's immediately get your venue. Mm-hmm. It's the most critical step, because without a venue there's no event. So we secured the venue, got all of our merchandise, got all of our registrations. Now we're here.
And really, with those registrations, we got those. Like, a lot of the students are from Oregon State and nearby community colleges, and really even just outside of like the departments of computer and data science.
Yeah.
And that was really cool what we did with marketing, right?
Yeah, it's I love it. Hackathons are something that's like only for computer science students. I think there's a big role for people who aren't technically skilled to participate in a hackathon group. There's people who can draw up UI elements. There's people who have the ideas behind the hackathon project. There's supporting cast who can do art or whatever for these projects. Owen, you were just talking about you're working on the
the animations for the game.
Yeah, right. Like if you had an artist on your team, solved. You could focus on the programming while they do the art stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course the pitch is like half of what can I think it's like half of your project, honestly. If you're just really good at selling why your project is impactful and like useful, I think that can make a big difference in a hackathon group. And of course, computer science majors aren't the most known for their salesmanship. So I think there's a huge role there for like business students and finance students to get involved. It's marketing, whoever wants to pitch an idea to judges. I think that's like a amazing role to fill.
How do you think we could like market to those people, like get finance people and business people?
That's the hardest thing, is convincing them that, hey, even though you're not technical, like this is a place that you can participate.
Yeah.
I think the best way is really it's just making this spreading the word of mouth like crazy. Word of mouth is by far the biggest grower of hackathons. The more word of mouth you get, the better, the more people will come. Like, I think it was our main source of registrations was from word of mouth. Okay. And hopefully most people are going to have maybe two friends who are computer science majors. Maybe those two can invite their art friend who they know or their finance friend to come help round out their team. I think that's the best way to get people involved. It is hard to go to a group of finance people and be like, you should do this, but it's really easy for one CS student to be like, hey, I want you on my hackathon team. If I promise you, anyone who goes up, any computer science student going up to a business student explaining what a hackathon is, explaining how they're going to participate over 24 hours, the business student's sold. They're in for sure. They love these kind of things. They really want to get involved.
Yeah, I think that's definitely another thing too that we didn't really touch on as much, was like our marketing. Shout out Jay and Adam. Amazing marketing that they've done. We posted flyers out throughout the entire school. We did class presentations, and almost every single college that we have, whether that's, College of Business, Computer and Data Science, we really reached into everywhere we can get our fingers and just try to pull out as many people, I think that's what makes it attractive for me as a business student and a finance student, is that, it's really just team building. It's like you're trying to make the best team that you can, everybody plays their role, and really your team's only as strong as the weakest link, right? So if, in future hackathons, I think that it would be incredible if really we can convince more UO students, whether they're art majors, whether they're, business students, whether really anybody can participate in a hackathon if, they have a skill that they want to push forward, because that's something that we really want, is we want these students and these participants to create projects, and those projects, like, at least for me, I would love to see a product or a company come to fruition from one of these hackathons. I think that's what, we're really gunning for, right? And in order to do that, and in order to really have that come to fruition, you need a solid team. And as we were touching on before, Noah was touching on, in order to have that team, you got to have the right people. So I think that's one of the most important things was the right people to do the event.
I think also, as a business student, most people wouldn't see the potential that a hackathon would have, right? So, like, you putting in this much effort into something, the passion helps too.
Yeah.
It can really, it can be a nice thing to put on your resume when you get to this scale.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's another huge advantage of hackathons, is that, the products that you create, and, whether it's software or hardware, whatever you create in the hackathons, you can use that in interviews. You can use that when applying to jobs and internships. You can use those skills in these different environments and future roles, right? You can lean on these. That's what it's here for. We're here to help you learn out new skills, meet new people, and really just create something incredible.
That's the perfect ad for a hackathon, honestly.
Yeah.
That was great, yeah.
Awesome.
I want to touch on sponsors as well, because you mentioned that, like, your hackathon is mostly, like, school funded.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of sponsors, what was that kind of experience?
Yeah. Well, we definitely would love to have more support from sponsors in the future. I think this one we didn't have any just because of how quick our turnaround was from starting planning to today. But it's not because anything, like, I think the sponsor route is totally suitable for hackathons, and I really want to explore that more next year. It's just that quick turnaround just meant we didn't have time to get sponsors.
Yeah.
But I think now that we got this to show for people, I think we're gonna have people knocking at the door. We had a few people reach out to us very last minute who were interested in trying to get involved, but we had to shoot them down because it was too quick. It was too quick of a turnaround.
Yeah.
But definitely in the future, the sponsors are going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's just about reaching out to them super in advance.
Yeah.
Showing them why these kind of events matter, showing them what their benefits are going to be by sponsoring events like this, and showing them, hey, we have a reputation here. We're here. We're going to deliver on these promises that we're making you as a sponsor. Having those kind of behind you is really valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to add on to that too, it's like with sponsors, they're a business, right?
Yeah.
No matter what really side you go on, it has to be a quid pro quo. They have to really gain something out of it, right? So I think to any sponsors or potential sponsors, hackathons, whether it's a hackathon at University of Oregon or, Oregon State, I mean, these are incredible opportunities to really put a product in a student's hand or really have them solve a problem that you may be having, whether it's a different track at a hackathon or it's just getting more exposure for your product, whether that's a drink or if it's a type of napkin or, any product you have, it could be anything under the sun, right?
Official napkin sponsor of QuackHacks 2026. I'd be
I
down.
wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no.
I'd love to have
potential.
I'd love to have an exclusive napkin sponsor.
Yeah.
I think an exclusive napkin sponsor would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also more of like you have to pitch it to them, right? And you have to touch on like the return on investment and the exposure that they'd get. And again, like Noah was saying, it really is just playing it in advance and having some kind of backing to show that, hey, we have the users, we have the people that attend these events, right? We want to bring this opportunity to you because it's going to benefit both of us, right? We wouldn't be here if we didn't think that it would benefit both of us. So I think that's one of the most important things in hackathons and sponsorships is really making it feel like both parties are gaining something out of it, because that's truly what it is. So I think going forward with our hackathons, especially, we're actively trying to find sponsors for next year's event and many more events onwards, because we want to build those relationships, and we hope those last, just like our relationship with OSU hackathons. It's something that is beneficial for both parties. So
Yeah. I think another huge benefit for sponsors is the recruiting. I mean, you're not going to find, it's pretty hard to find the smartest people at the most talented CS students at your school just through an application. It's really hard to be like, if I was a Eugene-based company and I was looking to recruit University of Oregon computer science students, don't put a flyer up in the halls. Come to a hackathon. This is where the people are. These are where the programmers who do this out of passion are.
Right.
These guys are volunteering their weekend to learn new skills. These participants are volunteering their whole weekend. They got their homework done ahead of time so then they could come here. They're fully dedicated to being here for 24 hours, just purely on passion. Sure, there's some prizes there, but they're really here out of the love of the game. So if I was a recruiter, this is the place to be. This is really it's one of a kind, the type of people that we have here. There's brilliant students. There's 99 of them in there. So this is really the place to recruit. That's I think hackathons are skyrocket in potential compared to traditional applications.
Yeah.
Touching on that, actually, Owen, in your experience at other hackathons, do you feel like it's maybe the more passionate people who really tend to rise to the top compared to the people who?
Yeah, I mean, even at our hackathons, right, we have 2,000 people in our CS program, and maybe there's only 100 of them who participate in these hackathons. I feel like a lot of those people are the ones who are really going to go farther. And when you go to something like CalHacks or DubHacks, that's the cream of the crop. Those are the best CS students, around the nation. And there are companies there who want to be there because they know these students are going to change the world in the future. And they're just really invested. You'll see 20 different companies sponsoring these big hackathons because they know that these kids are wanting to do stuff, wanting to change the world with their technology and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the Pacific Northwest is it's growing as a hub for these major companies. We got Microsoft and Amazon up here in Seattle. These companies are growing up here. That's what our opening speaker talked about mostly, was about how this is a great chance to apply yourself and learn new skills and come grow as a student. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess add a little more. It's what Noah was saying. These people are going out of their way on a weekend to come here and show what they have, right? It's a resume piece. It's something you can talk about, and it shows you're dedicated, right? Just like Noah was saying, it's you're going out of your comfort zone. You may be going to another city where you don't know anybody, but here you're gonna meet new friends. You're gonna be able to create a project that's insane, right? And that's what hackathons are for. It's to get out of your comfort zone, meet new people, and really create incredible projects that will change the world in the future, right?
Something I want to touch on, because we're talking a lot about kind of the participant side of people going out of their way and really committing to something when they don't really have to. And that kind of shows one thing. It shows that these people are going to be the people that companies want to hire. But now if we look at the people who are actually hosting the hackathons themselves, I feel like you guys are also people that, arguably more than the participants themselves, companies are going to want to choose you because you're taking 10 times the amount of time. You're putting all this effort into organizing these events. And the three of us, when we walked in here, we were like Owen texted me and he was like, dude, this is legit. And just seeing all the merch and the food, and then how official everything. You guys have the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
He
still has his walkie-talkie next to him just in case there's a fire that breaks out.
No, this guy's prepared.
He's ready.
Yeah. And so just to see all of that and the perspective it puts on participants and people, it's so official, but it all came from the minds of just your average students. There could be a CS student sitting right next to you in your class who has no idea that you hosted one of the largest hackathons in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I guess going off all that, what do you think, how do you put in that much effort in terms of?
Yeah.
I have the sales pitch here. I think ever since July, since me and John had that first call, hackathons is all that occupies my brain. I don't think about much else. In my free time, I'm researching other hackathons. I'm figuring out how I can improve this event. If I'm thinking constantly about how to grow it. I am obsessed with hackathons. I am extremely passionate to put on the best event I can. And part of doing that is having an incredible team. You know, Rome isn't built in a day, and it's definitely not built by one person. We need teams of people who are interested in building hackathons. And I think, as you kind of mentioned, like, you know, there's the participant side and then there's the organizer side. I think the skills to participate in a hackathon are very different from the skills to organize a hackathon. Organizing a hackathon is like it's like working on a movie. You're working for multiple years on this product that people are going to spend 2 hours on. Like a movie is an hour 30 to maybe 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours if it's long, and they spend like years, 4 or 5 years to create these movies. Hackathon's the same way. You're spending a whole year prepping everything for what's going to be 24 hours or 36 hours. It's a lot of work that all accumulates in a short duration. But it means that you can deliver a very premium experience for the participants during that short duration. It's about making the experience as good as possible. That's the thing that I care the most about. I want every single person who comes here to have an amazing time.
Yeah.
If I can't, QuackHacks this is the first QuackHacks of its kind here at Oregon. First hackathon here at Oregon for the last 8 years, and I can't. If I was to pitch QuackHacks to somebody who's maybe at another school and is considering what hackathons to go to, I can't promise that, like, we don't have the reputation of CalHacks, we don't have the reputation of MHacks, but what I can promise is I am very dedicated to making the most premium experience you could dream of. I want you to feel like you are walking into a 5-star hotel when you walk into QuackHacks. I want this to be, I want the user experience to be astonishing. I want people to be like, oh wow, I'm walking into a movie. I'm a participant in the movie.
Yeah.
I want people to feel like what they're entering is a premium event. I want this to be feel luxurious.
Yeah.
It's what it should be.
Yeah, I think and to touch on your question more, I think it's really the staff. It's like you have to find the people and the personalities that are willing to go that extra mile, that are willing to move those impossible mountains to make this work, right? It's the passion, it's the dedication. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you study, right? I mean, even the kids sitting at home who might be watching this, right? Like, you can make it work. If you have the dream, if you're that dedicated to hackathons, that's what makes a successful hackathon, is the passion of the people creating it. Because if you build it, they'll come, right? We built it and we have 99 plus people in there hacking away, right? I mean, it's just proof of concept right there. So to answer your question, I think it's the passion that our whole team and our volunteers bring to building this space for students and building this environment, right? Just like a 5-star hotel, we have to make it an environment that students want to come to so that they will succeed. Those rotisserie chickens,
Yes, sir.
That should be banging.
We're getting a cake from them. So actually, fun fact. Are we recording during this? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. Costco lets you make a custom cake that's 10 inches wide for $16. You can write whatever you want on it. I'm just putting that out there. It's a great investment. It's really, really good. We have a mini event going on later tonight. That's a paper airplane competition. Whoever can throw the paper airplane the furthest. And the prize is that cake, and it says QuackHacks.
Little gifts.
Yeah, QuackHacks.
The entire cake.
Yeah, QuackHacks paper airplane champions.
Yeah.
Custom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm excited.
We have some other random little trinkets and gifts as well that we're gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna be insane. I don't know if you guys have been in a Hirons before, or if you've seen them, but think of a Hirons as if you think of a mystical movie of a hoarder in 1,000 years, there's just so much stuff in one building. It's like that. It's overwhelming. But to buy.
It's overwhelming. It's there's stuff you can buy when you stare straight up.
Yeah.
It's 360 degrees of
stuff.
Just the most random stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really strange.
We got some really cool prizes coming up for sure.
Hell yeah.
So
awesome.
that's another thing that's exciting about it. But yeah.
So you guys trying to run Costco out of this?
I'm down.
I'm
Let's
down.
go.
We gotta get those groceries.
Yeah,
in
we
there,
gotta
so-
pick up our cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not trying to go back and then like go to Albany tomorrow.
Yeah.
That just seems. We figured we get it done
Yeah,
here.
just come with us.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, this that kind of reminds me of like, I'm so happy you guys reached out because this hackathon, the community of hackathon organizers is really strong. Like everyone just wants to help each other.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to like build each other. We just know that like hackathons, they're more successful hackathons only help the smaller hackathons, and the smaller hackathons only help the bigger hackathons. Like, you know, we're just gonna leapfrog off of each other of making successful events after each other, and just supporting each other. I like this community is really good.
Yeah.
And MLH, of course, is a great resource, and they've run HackCon, convention for hackathon organizers. I'm excited for all these kind of things to meet more organizers and stuff.
Yeah, and like events like this can't go on without like volunteers, right? So, I mean, we only have like 5 full-time like on staff that helped form this hackathon, but aside from that, we have a ton of volunteers here today who aren't comp sci majors, who really have nothing to do with this, but they came out and they volunteered their time to help put on this event, which is fantastic. Like it's stuff like that that really helps hackathons come together as a community too, is like just around the college and the campus itself is like people that want to be here, that want to help others learn and succeed, right?
Yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier, that the skills to organize a hackathon are very different than the skills to participate in a hackathon. Participating in a hackathon takes like very technical skills. It takes a lot of creativity. It takes a lot of dedication. Those 3 are almost translate pretty decently to organizing a hackathon, except your technicality can really be in anything. If you are if you know how to produce, make video content, short form, long form, you have a spot on a hackathon team. Evidence as you're watching. If you're someone who just knows how to keep the books tidy, keep the finances good, you have a spot on a hackathon team. If you know how to draw, make brand concepts, make merchandise, or draw like mock-up T-shirts and stuff, you have a spot on a hackathon team. We are recruiting any and all majors. Everyone has a spot on the organization team of a hackathon. It's way more than computer science. It's every single staff, every single possible degree has a potential role on a hackathon team. And it's an amazing opportunity to show to future employers how you were willing to apply your skills in like something that's a little bit like experimental. Not experimental, but like it's out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's not like something that's very traditional for finance people to come to a hackathon. But guess what? This guy's now going to say on his resume, I've managed a 5-figure budget for a 100-person in attendance event. And next year, those numbers are only growing. So I think if you've any interest in getting involved and you want to be able to take your passion, your major, into something that's really applicable, get in touch with your local hackathon team, because they'll probably be begging at their knees to have you on the team.
I feel like a lot of people will go their entire college career, like their entire undergrad, without really exploring these options.
Yeah.
People tell you that like college is the time to explore majors, explore life in general.
Yeah.
But exploring stuff that's like outside of maybe your comfort zone or what you think people will be doing, like no one in finance is telling you to go do hackathons.
No.
And,
No finance professor's ever going to tell you.
Nobody's ever said that in my life. But I think, to touch on that more, it's like, my freshman year, and I'm sure a lot of freshmen at other colleges across the country can atone to this, right? It's like they pitch joining clubs and joining orgs and, putting events like this on, because college isn't all about partying. It's not all about school. It's really about community and being able to really make events like this where it shows that you have the passion and the drive to make something that can succeed and really create something that's going to affect others, right? And that's why, as a freshman, I had no idea that I was going to be doing this. And, here I am as a junior, a couple years later, and, I'm on the board, I'm helping direct. And, it's stuff like this that's going to look great on a resume. It's going to look great to applicants and to companies. And, it's going to help me further down the road, because this is something that I'm going to be able to back up in an interview, right? It's the soft skills, it's the hard skills, And that just really comes with the field of going out of your comfort zone, right? It's something that you can touch on in those interviews and just in life in general, right? It's like bookkeeping, at least for me, is going to carry with me for the rest of my life, right? Always going to have to manage money. And, for event director, it's just creativity, creating new things, and really communication, right? There's a lot that goes into that stuff, and it's stuff that you carry with you your entire life. It's just more opportunities for you to learn new skills and improve upon them. So I would say, why not, right? Why not jump into the deep end once in a while and try something new?
I feel like I've learned so much about team management and communication and running an event. I feel like I've the same way that like participants in the hackathon come out of the hackathon and they say, oh wow, I learned more in these 24 hours than I have all semester. I think I feel the same way about running these kind of events. I feel like I've learned so much, and constantly, and it's constant improvement. It's constant looking for ways to improve and learn new skills.
I'm sure like even at this event, like there's so many things to keep track of, and you're constantly thinking of like, what can we improve from this event for the next one? I know like before off camera we were talking about so many things that we want to do, but there's probably a lot of things that maybe didn't go the way you planned.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll talk about some challenges that we faced.
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge we had was venue.
Absolutely. I think especially
God.
when, I think a lot of hackathons, at least to my knowledge, either go 24, 36 hours, or, they let participants go home, and, there's always that option. At least we were really driving and gunning for a 24-hour nonstop in one venue, where if someone wants to be caffeine-driven and fueled for 24 hours straight, they're going to be able to just code nonstop.
Yeah,
in one
we
single
have
place.
we have a host. We'll host them for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to us.
Yeah, and that was definitely one of our biggest issues, which is why we're extremely grateful to our university's like services here for scheduling, where we have incredible venues like this that we can really use and utilize as students. And I think that's really important too on college campuses, is having those facilities that are willing and able to foster that education outside of school, that extracurricular participation that's going to drive students to want to learn more, that's going to force them into taking on a new minor or a new major, or taking classes that they don't think they're going to take, right? It's stuff like that where it really goes outside of the competition itself. It goes into the university, right? It's like at Oregon State, at the University of Oregon, there are a lot of moving parts that go into it. And I feel like a lot of what helped us succeed during this was being able to communicate with them and find an option that we can use, right? We moved the mountain. We found a way around the mountain, right? The challenge that we had. And we figured out how to host an incredible event like this.
That's spot on.
I think, just the scale is so impressive. And what's your thoughts on like, so I know like Jack is usually more vocal with his vision. He's like, yo, we got to do this. It's going to be crazy. But I still see it in you, and I see the way you think, and I feel like we think kind of the same way, all four of us here. And I guess, that vision, like where does that vision come from, where you're like, I want to do something that no one's ever done before?
That's a great question. I've thought about that a lot. Why do I even care about this? why is this something that I care for? I think I know I'm capable of it, and I just want to challenge myself. I want to push myself to make something that very few people could say that they could do. I just wanted to challenge myself in a way that's like very unique. I had some opportunities to organize other clubs, and I think that I've helped them get into positions where they don't need me anymore. So I've stepped down from them to come do this because I know this is something that can be really special and really be like a moment that hundreds of people across multiple campuses remember each year. I want QuackHacks to be an event that people look forward to when they come back to campus in the fall. I want it to be like, the yearly event that like people are ruminate about or plan. They think of their project ideas for a full year and then come to the University of Oregon to complete them.
Yeah.
I want people to feel like, it's worth flying out to our event because we're trying hard to do a very premium experience for all of our hackers. If we were able to do this in 3 months, just wait till you see what we can do in a year.
Yeah.
When we have some time under our belt, this event's gonna be a movie start to finish.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic way of putting it for sure. I think if people who watch this take anything from it, I'd say go to a hackathon wherever you are. Like if there's a hackathon near you, go to it, right? Whether you're a business, whether you're 50 years old, whether you're retired, just go there, learn something new, meet people, right? I think that's what drives it for me. That's what makes the passion and the energy from me, is just seeing the faces on these people when they solve a problem, right? When they create something new that they're excited about. That's what I want, right? That's what I use as energy, right? And it's so exciting to see that, especially from someone who's helped kind of craft. It's like when you're cooking something for somebody and they say it's tasty, right? It's the same thing. It's like you put in the effort and the energy into making that product and they're enjoying it. That's like prime satisfaction right there. You're just seeing these students grow and you're seeing them learn, and that's what drives the energy for me, and that's it. Yeah, I'll for sure be here next year trying to make it better and even bigger for more students to learn and grow. So I'm super thrilled.
Something I want to touch on is, as things get bigger, like to the extent it has, and you guys are planning to go even bigger next year, you have to commit a lot of time. You have to commit a lot of time, a lot of effort. You have to throw everything into this. And you already mentioned like that this is something that you're always thinking about, and you're always thinking about how you can make it better, how you can deliver the best experience possible. And I think myself and Owen have also experienced that too, where like, whether it's other clubs that we're running and as officers and different responsibilities that we have, maybe it's school, and like, other things, like other life things, this definitely can have an impact on those things as well. You're committing so much time to the point where it could start inhibiting other aspects of your life. And I just wanted to know, like, kind of, have you guys had that experience where it's like definitely affected?
I've never missed a class because of hackathon responsibilities.
I wish I could say the same. It goes person by person.
Sarcastic.
It goes person by person, I think. Especially for me, I think not everybody is as involved on campus as me. I'm in 2 club executive positions. I have 2 part-time jobs on campus. Full-time student, 16 credits, busy and bustling around wherever I can go. But, the reason why I do all of it is because, it's just, I love it. I love being there for people. I love fostering stuff like this. I don't want to miss this opportunity. It's just something that, I know I may have to sacrifice maybe a class here and there, or, some homeworks might be late, but, I think it's all worth it to give students and just participants the chance and just to see the reaction on their faces. I think, in a trade-off 10 years down the line, right, I'm not going to think about the homework or the test that I got a bad grade on or that I missed out on, right? It's just one test. The world's still going to keep spinning. But what am I going to remember? I'm going to remember...
I remember this night for the rest of my life.
I'm creating a fantastic event for students and for people to attend. Fantastic food, fantastic people, great projects, huge atmosphere, right? That's what I'm here for. So, I'm willing to make those sacrifices.
Yeah. And, just for clarity, like, that level of dedication is probably required of the few people at the top. If you're interested in joining the hackathon team as an artist or take a or on the tech teams or finance teams, marketing teams, whatever.
Absolutely.
doesn't mean you're sacrificing sleep or whatnot. You can do it very, very relaxed. I think me and Jack we have a very high commitment level to this project, but it's not how everyone participating in the organizational staff goes. But if you're someone who's willing to make those sacrifices, I think this is then you're one of the people who's meant for a higher position at a hackathon.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for today, guys. You guys have a lot of work to get to,
it's time to head back out there.
Yeah.
Make sure that the place hasn't burned down yet in our absence.
So thank you so much to everyone for watching this podcast episode. It was an honor to get to speak to the hosts of QuackHacks. Do you guys have anything you want to promote?
Yeah, if you are interested in QuackHacks, whether that means you are interested in participating or organizing QuackHacks or sponsoring, please reach out to me. You can find my contact information on the QuackHacks website, quackhacks.org. If you can also find us on Instagram, QuackHacks, and LinkedIn, QuackHacks.
All of which will be linked in the description below.
And thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate you guys driving up all the way up here. Both to participate in the event and to help have a podcast like this. It's really cool. It's an opportunity that I don't get very often. So
thank you guys.
It's an honor. You want to come visit? Come take a look with the cameras on the events.
Oh, right now?
Can we do
Yeah,
that?
let's do it.
Yeah. Caleb, you want to get the camera?
I don't know. Is this gonna logistically be okay for the cameraman?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
So we're getting a sneak peek at QuackHacks in person. You want to lead the way?
Very good.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, QuackHacks 2024.
Let's go take a look around.
Show you guys my setup too.
So if you look here, you can see they've got like snacks and everything, and a bunch of drinks. BeaverHacks 2025.
Gotta get that Celsius.
Yeah. We got Kai. That's good.
Oh, that's going great.
This is Kai. He's one of the officers of ACM.
Hey.
All right.
We got all the essentials. We got the blanket for the 24-hour.